Hey, I'm Ken Lammers, and this is where I am going to try bakeifying and cookerizing some stuff. Yeah, I know, I don't look like a natural born cook, and that's probably because I ain't. Up until recently, if it didn't fit in the microwave or the toaster oven, it didn't get made. But, I've been locked at home way too much during the COVIDiocy, so I thought I would try my hand at some baking. This is going to be my first attempt at bread. God bless us all. It may be the only chance. So here I go. Okay, first of all, I've got to warm up some milk because I'm using milk in my recipe rather than water, even as the activator, because I have water from a pump, right? From a well. And it's perfectly fine, it's potable, everything. The problem is that it does have a little bit of a smell and a little bit of a taste. So, so I'm going to try substituting milk in for water in my recipe. Of course, it has to be warm, so 2 1/4 cup of warm water coming up. May take a minute or two. Now, I'm supposed to put some sort of sugar in it, and I don't really run around with a whole lot of sugar at home, so we're going to try the nice Econo size clover honey from Kroger and see how that works. By the way, I am following the advice from It's a Southern Thing. This is, I don't have any bourbon, which is what they use, but this is red wine to be applied liberally to the cook as needed. Not bad. Well, folks, we have to turn on the anti-fire alarm system. Next comes Fleischmann's Active Dry Yeast. Original, as opposed to extra crispy. Okay, so we're going to try 2½ teaspoons of this, which should be about what they say I should use. And now we wait with warm milk for such time as it takes to bubble. Hot dang, it worked. Okay, now I have to mix in the rest. 3 tablespoons of sugar. Well, that's going to be honey. Let's pull the honey back out. Salt. How much salt am I supposed to use? 1 tablespoon of salt. Three cups of flour. Now I'm supposed to go to 6 1/2 to 6 3/4. Wow, this is going to take a bit. Okay, now I am supposed to whisk. my life away. Did I read that? Yeah, 6 cups. Damn it! Well, folks, I think we're screwed because in the ingredients list it said 6 3/4, but when you read the actual thing, it only says to use 3 cups, which means I've got to go in and do some emergency work here and see if I can save it. Because I've clearly doubled the amount the recipe calls for. So, now we put 2.5 more cups of milk in it. Three more tablespoons of honey. Another tablespoon of salt. I don't know whether I should put more yeast in or not. I'm going to. We'll see. I'm either making this really bad or we're saving it. One or the other. There is no middle ground. Huh. The ingredients say I should have 2 tablespoons of canola oil. But the actual recipe doesn't tell me to put it in there. Screw it. I'm going to put in the 2 tablespoons of canola oil. Now let's try whisking again. God, it's probably going to make it worse. Cold milk is not helping. Oh, crap. There's what I missed. Wow. This should be interesting because now I realize I misread the recipe and I have twice the amount of milk, twice the amount of salt, and twice the amount of yeast. So we may be making exploding bread. Ah, crud, I guess I could mix more yeast in, or more flour in. 3 more cups, you think? No, actually, technically it should be 6. To be honest with you, I'm not sure how I would get this smoothed out if it was 6. Guess there's really no other option, so is there? Because I really need to get what is here now smooth, or start mixing in other half cups. Shoot, I guess I ought to put at least 1 more tablespoon of canola oil in it. think that's as smooth as it's going to get. Okay, so we've done that. Apply as needed. Now, we are supposed to start I think it's probably preferable if this is wood. Life sucks. Sometimes you have to make do. Okay. Flour on the board. Oh man, I'm never gonna get that off my St. Michael's ring. Alright. 10 to 15 minutes, I am supposed to, I think, tell this stuff I need it, which means I have to choose between, you know, the classic, you can't go, all the plants will die from stripes, or just the regular, you know, typical bag pleed. I think, although I may be reading what kneading is wrong. Okay, got to put it in some container and let it self-rise for an hour and a half in a warm area. So, this is a container. Wow, you bum. You know, I'm suspicious. When I see people bake on TV, it just comes easy out of this. Okay. Look at that pan. And that. Okay. Cover it up, let it sit for an hour and a half. Gets to sit in a dry room for an hour and a half, which means approximately 7:30 I'll be back and we'll see what we see. By the way, folks, it's supposed to rise, I think, like double in size or something like that. Whether it does or not, it's going in the oven. I ain't putting this much work in without it going in the oven. If I need to eat flatbread for the next week, I'm eating flatbread. Okay, folks, I'm back. It's been pretty much 2 hours. I don't know if you can see it here, but it did rise some. I don't know if it doubled. They keep saying, oh, it needs to double. I don't know if it doubled, but it rose. So, the next step is going to be putting on a floured surface and then beating living tar out of it. Actually, I think I'm supposed to beat the living tar out of it first and then put it on a floured surface. Okay, beat it down. I do not have Mom's rolling pin because I'm an idiot and didn't even think I need to buy something like that. So if I can get it to come free, come on, let go of the daggone cover. This is way too sticky. Way too sticky. Okay, no rolling pin. Not sure how I'm going to deal with this. Well, no, I think I've got an option. See, it's a good thing they sell these in more than ones. So I can now do this. Let's start the next step. More flour. By the time I'm done here, this may finished, maybe finished, maybe by about 11:30. Well, shoot, ain't enough space on that one for the rest of it. I do have one more of these. Okay, well that's step 2. The next thing we do now is, oh wait, I've got to cover them. Doggone. Okay. Yeah, let's use aluminum foil on this for now on. It works better. At least at the beginning. And that's step 2. Now there's another hour-and-a-half wait while it's supposed to rise again. And then we throw it into the oven. Siri, set alarm for 90 minutes.
I've set an alarm for 21:51.
And at 21:51 we'll be back. Throw this in there for 20 or 30 minutes and see where we go. Okay, so we're at the final step, right? And the final step is 375 degrees on the oven. Put that on bake. And it says to bake them until you tap on, until golden brown, bread sounds hollow and tapped on, or it's got an internal temperature of 200 degrees, 30 to 35 minutes. I don't know if that means 30 to 35 minutes is when you should, about how long it should take, or if that means get it to 200 degrees and then 30 to 35 minutes at that temperature. To be honest with you, I ain't got anything that I can poke into it to even measure internal temperatures. So, I'm going to guess, and I'm going to take the covers off, shove them in the oven, and we're going to see if 35 minutes does it. Okay, so now we take them and we put them in the oven and we see what we see. This big pan goes on the lower shelf, and this thingamajig bobby, the aluminum thing goes on the upper one. That should be interesting because it's almost full from the ones. And now, hey Siri, set alarm for 30 minutes.
I've set an alarm for 22:48.
Okay, well then at 22:48 we'll be back and see if the bread's done. God willing. Hey, not quite 30 minutes yet, but I thought I smelled some burning. So I'm going to check this because I don't trust it. This one's done. No ifs, ands, and buts about that. Maybe overdone. The others, they're needing some more time. Alright, so I have some that are done. The two that I did in this cellophane thing, or aluminum thing, are done now. Now let's get them out of there. So apparently, if you want to do bread well, if you do it in those aluminum things you can buy at the grocery store, they work okay. If you do them on the flat pan, stove pan you got, it takes a little bit longer. And we're back. Now it's time to check to see if the rest of this bread is done. Yeah, it looks like it needs to be put on the top shelf of my oven to really bake. Okay, so let's turn the heat off so I don't forget to turn the thing off. 2 gloves. I'm going to want to move this out of there pretty quick. Pull the shelf forward. Yeah, it's all golden. They're all pretty hardened. So they sit there in their bed of back in, back up. Interesting. Most of the flour they had underneath it is still just flour. It's darker, right? Except over here in the corner, it looks like the bread leaked or something. That's interesting. It's just got, it looks like the flour got wet. It's strange. Ow, this last one's totally glued down. It's not going to be edible, I don't think. This last one, where it looked like water leaked from it. Yeah, the very bottom of it is not coming up at all. I'm just catching the inside. And the inside actually looks pretty good. But yeah, the bottom didn't come up at all on that sucker. Wow, that's gonna have to soak to come off there. Okay, so here's the first batch, and it's cooled down. Yeah, it's still got a lot of flour in the bottom of it. Not thrilled by that. But let's break it open and see what it tastes like. Good. little doughy. What? Solid, good bread. If I do it again, have to be some corrections, but not bad. Let's take the one that exploded from the others. Oh, still a little hot. So, despite the screw-ups, I at least got a couple of good things bred out of it. Next time I'll probably do it in the normal bread pans and cook it up that way, bake it up that way. But not bad. Let's tear a piece off this. Not bad internally. The second batch, the ones that were in the on the pan, a little bit harder on the crust, but then I did leave them in longer. Internally, not much different. Maybe a little doughier. Still, decent bread. Is it good enough bread that I should be baking this every week and not going and buying stuff at the local Kroger's or Ingles or Food City or wherever you buy your stuff at? Probably not. But then again, it's the first time I've ever made bread, so we're working from a first attempt. Okay, so it's the next day. The bread sat there for a night, and I don't know if that finished some of it inside or out or not, but it doesn't seem as doughy as it tasted last night. It still tastes really good. It is very rich. It is not bread that I would use for a sandwich. I'm not going to put bologna on this stuff, I'm going to use it as either a side bread or I'm going to use it as a dessert because it's rich enough pretty much to be a dessert. I guess that's from using milk, and probably the honey, because the rest of the ingredients, although they were probably a little bit screwy from from the recipe, the rest of the ingredients wouldn't really change that. So, I mean, it tastes good. It tastes really good to me. As you can see from this picture here, it's got the outer brown crust, and it's got really good. The meat of the bread is good, really good. The crust's not too bad. I'm not a huge fan of it. Could use it to be a little bit less thick. I don't know if I can arrange that by maybe reducing the temperature and baking a little bit longer. I'm not sure if that would accomplish that or not. Maybe if I ever do this again, I'll try and see. The bottom of it, because of the way I baked it, is got flour all over it, which means it leaves flour wherever I put it. But that's okay, I can clean that up pretty easily. Not a huge problem. This is probably going to be used. Heck, I'm going to eat it all up eventually over the next week or two, with as either dessert unto itself or the side bread, and where I rip off chunks to get the gravy or something, right? So it worked out pretty well. I hope you enjoyed this, however gazillion many minutes it took to do it. And the next time on Ken versus the Stove, maybe I'll do something a little bit different. Keep threatening to do Geta, and I'm going to do it someday. I've pretty much got all the ingredients. It's just a matter of taking the time to do it, because I think it's going to take about as long as the bread did. So we'll see. And until I get there, you all have a good day. Go out and bake some stuff for yourself, just to see how fun it is. And
Masalama, y'all.